Yo, what's going on? Man like Mr. Dice Ailes, what's going on, my G?
Yo, brother, how you doing, man?
I'm alright, man. I'm alright, man. Just, living it up in this lockdown at the moment. Well, living it up as much as possible. You know the ones there?
Yeah, I know, bro. It's crazy,
Yeah, man.
crazy.
So,
How's it in the UK?
UK, well, I mean, I could go into so much, man. Like, literally, we're on our third lockdown at the moment. We can't go outside unless it's absolutely necessary. So, I mean, for me personally, this hasn't been as tricky compared to the first two because there's been a lot of stuff I've been thinking about as far
Yeah,
as like my life and stuff. But yeah, it's a bit tricky right now, bro.
I know.
How are
It's
things
it's
over there?
similar in Canada too. But I see like yeah, it's similar, very similar. But I see out in Nigeria, like they're partying every night, just living life. I kind of miss it out there though.
Yeah, yeah. Is that where you're at now? Are you in Canada now?
Yeah, I'm in Toronto right now.
Okay, okay, okay. So I mean, we're gonna go into like your backstory of like moving to different places in a little while. But first things first, you got your tagline,
Yeah.
Mr Miyagi.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, Karate Kid reference. You know, what I mean, one of the biggest movies in the '80s. I mean, what made you want to become like Mr Miyagi? What made you want to have that as an alias?
I mean, it's funny. Like when I was like really young, when I started rapping, it was one of the lines that I would always throw in there and be like, "I rock fly kicks like Mr. Miyagi," and it was like a play on the word, and the name just sort of stuck to me, and I sort of just found myself using it over time.
Okay. So that became a thing over time when you had like that bar that you said, and then it kind of just fitted into your persona.
Yeah,
I hear that, man. I hear that. So I mean, with the Karate Kid movies, like, have you watched the Karate Kid movies?
yeah, I have still.
I was gonna say because I thinking if you took in the phrase Mr. Miyagi, you never seen the films. I'm thinking, what are you doing there, bro? So I mean, do you prefer the classic movie like from the '80s, or do you even like the updated version that had Jackie Chan and Jaden Smith?
I mean, I don't mind either of. I don't mind either of. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think obviously, the legendary status of Mr. Miyagi would center for more the '80s movies. So I mean,
Sure.
for me, I like the action in the updated version, but I prefer like the
Yeah,
classic
like
version where it
classic one.
stemmed from.
Yeah, I feel you on that one still. I
But
feel, yeah.
yeah, yeah, man. Well, I mean, you just mentioned like you're in Canada at the moment. I mean, how are things over there for you? As far as like, are you in a lockdown? What's the situation over there for you?
Yeah, there's a lockdown out here too. I think this is about like our third lockdown too. But for me in Canada, like I always love to be here. This is where my family's at. It's more quiet, things are more serene compared to out in Lagos, Nigeria, where like everything is fast paced.
Yeah.
So here allows for me to like just focus on myself and record music on a different level. So I think it's definitely a blessing and a curse. The lockdown for me out here. I always love to be in Canada.
Okay, because I know that you've been back and forth between Nigeria and Canada, which again we'll go into in a bit. But I wanted to touch on like you did your last music video, which was Pim Pim featuring Olamide, and then obviously your recent video was the Money Dance, which we'll go into in a bit as well. But I noticed there's been a gap between when you did Pim Pim and Money Dance as far as videos. Has it been quite difficult as far as like the creative process and bringing out content as the pandemic started?
I mean, when I put out Pim Pim, the plan was to shortly follow up with like singles and then the album, and then the pandemic hit. A lot of things had to be structured internally. But then, I went ahead to do a lot of features. We did Tiwa Savage's album with Steph London. We did DJ Spinall.
Yes.
We did Katie Kane in Spain. I was doing collaborations throughout the year and sort of just planning for 2021 and, structuring the new company, TMM. We also got into partnerships with Sony and Black Butter. So that was, all that was happening in the space of, January to December. And we were just ready to go soon as we hit 2021.
So I can imagine as well, like touring has been a bit limited on your end as well. I mean, because how long have you
Yeah.
been in, as far as like where you're at now in Canada? Like, how long have you been there? this time around?
I mean, I think I've been in Canada like three to 4 months.
Right. So
Um,
only a couple of months. So, but beforehand, you were in Nigeria for a long period
yeah,
of time.
before. Yes. I was in Nigeria. I was traveling a lot from Nigeria to the UK, to Spain, to Togo, to South Africa. Just doing a lot of traveling here and there. But yeah, in Canada, it's been 3 months.
So in the past couple of months, obviously, I would assume like the same for us that touring is just very very limited. Were you able to tour whilst you were in Nigeria during the height of the pandemic, or was that still a case that you couldn't really tour there either?
Yeah, I couldn't really tour. Since the pandemic hit, everybody had to be home, and months after we are trying to recover from that, we also got struck by the end Sars situation that was happening in Nigeria.
Yeah, we'll talk about
That
that in
was
a bit.
Yes, that was another pandemic, that hit us, and so touring was limited. I couldn't really connect with the fans on a physical level. So most of the stuff that we were doing was just like social media.
Okay, so a lot of it has been more like promoting online,
Yeah.
being creative. Like, are you regular in the studio, like making music during this time as well?
Yeah, I'm very regular in the studio. A lot of stuff that I do is like, I do mobile studio a lot. So, if I'm home, the producer just sets up and then we vibe, or, we hit up a hotel or Airbnb, wherever I'm at, I'm recording.
Okay, so you're able to find a way to still be creative, whether it means like, even if it's limited access to what you can do, you can find ways to get your creative juices flowing at this time.
Yes.
I hear that. I mean, has that impacted you as far as like, having the ability to perform? Like we just said, like, you being in Nigeria, you being in Canada right now, and obviously, tours are not really happening, performances are not really happening. Has that affected you in terms of like, because obviously a lot of artists I've spoken with, they just have the urge to want to perform and go out there on stage. Like, has that been a bugging feeling for you?
Definitely has, man. That's one of my favorite things to do. Just jumping on the plane and being on the road, going from city to city performing. That's one of my favorite things to do. And so right now it's like I'm going crazy. Like, when is the pandemic ever gonna end? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
we're saying that on our side. Don't worry, we're in the same boat, brother.
Yeah, man. So yeah, it is definitely affecting me. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, obviously, once this pandemic is over, I'm assuming that you would just want to like go out and tour the world again. I noticed that a couple of years ago that you came down to London. Was that your first time coming over here?
Yes, it was. It was my first time in London.
Yeah, and I noticed the major difference is that you've grown out your hair. Because when I was looking at some of your previous content and knowing that some of your looking at your social media, and I'm thinking like, is this the same person? Like, do I have to? I was looking twice, brother. I was thinking like, the hair's grown. I'm thinking like, nah, that can't be the same person. No one's there.
Yeah.
So I mean, you being in London a couple of years ago and being at your first time, what made me laugh actually was I saw like a clip of a day in the life of you in London, and that your manager at the time was saying that where you were at in Shoreditch, and you were trying to find a route to get there and asking people to, how do you get there and stuff, and apparently we didn't really help, and apparently it's like we don't know where to lead you to. And he was saying about, in Canada, like, everyone knows each other, everyone helps out, but we don't really help out. But in fairness to me, though, I've been in London for a very long time, and yet I don't know everywhere in London, to be fair. So I mean, was it quite easy for you to find Shoreditch in the end, because that's where you were at the time?
Yeah. It was. I met a couple friends out there when I was in London. A couple cool people. But the culture is definitely different compared to here in Canada, where everyone is more polite, and there's a lot of like, um, there's a lot of like togetherness, and everybody just trying to be like there for one another. But in compared to like London, my experience is like everybody's like on their own, just trying to like do their thing, sort of like similar to the vibe in Lagos as well.
Right. Okay.
So yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say we're all that bad. I mean, we do help as much as we can. I mean, I can only speak for myself. Like, if I can route
Yeah.
you, I can. If I can direct you to a place, I can. But that is if I know where to take you. One's there.
Yeah. I feel you.
Yeah, I've been to Toronto a couple of years ago actually, and
Okay.
yeah, it was a really really good experience. You know, like what like you said about the togetherness, and I mean, for me going over there with my British accent, and everyone is kind of like just receiving me already. Did
Yes.
when you've been to when you went to Canada the first time, and you know you were meeting people and the togetherness, like you were saying, did they ever pick up of like, you know, oh, are you, you know, because sometimes the accents can be kind of loose, like lucid in terms of like, you know, the sort of American swagger with the Nigerian swagger. Like, did they ever confuse your accent, or was it quite easy to pick up?
I mean, it was easy to pick up for me. Like, I always sounded like this. So, I mean, a lot of people ask if I was American, but because Canada is very like multicultural and diverse, it's okay to sound however or be from wherever.
Yeah.
They're very receptive to different cultures, and it doesn't matter out here. You could just be whatever and still thrive in this society here.
Yeah, they certainly did that with me as well, man. Like, you know, some of the girls that I was speaking with at the time, I was thinking, yo, do I have to like sort out a visa to bring her back here?
Toronto girls are the cutest,
What's that, bro?
though. I said Toronto girls are the cutest though.
Oh, listen, I could go into so many stories about, you know, my adventures with some Toronto girls, but we'll leave that for another conversation, man.
Oh,
Um, but being, you know, just, you know, going back to you being in London, like, you know, how did you take the whole experience? Like, how was it as a whole for you?
I mean, it was definitely inspiring to see that there's like a big Afrobeat scene out there in London. From Nigeria, we don't really know what's going on over there, and we don't know that there's something big happening there compared to Toronto as well. There's no Afrobeat scene; it's just growing. There's just only like Dice and maybe like a Nonso Amadi, really pushing the envelope out here in Canada as it
Mm.
pertains to Afrobeats. So being in London, that was really like inspiring to watch and see that there's a lot of artists like Notes at the time. There was Jay Huss. There was a lot of people, really like fusing and really like promoting the culture. And so that was inspiring to watch.
No, I hear that because I mean, even when you came over, like you bucked up with Tinie Tempah at the time, which I've heard about, and like he hooked you up with
Yeah.
some clothes and stuff, and you was really connecting and
Yes,
stuff.
yes, yes.
I mean, firstly,
Yeah.
how was it meeting him, and then also like, you know, obviously from then you've seen like some of the influences like Notes and Jay Huss. Who are you feeling on our side at the moment, like in these current times?
I mean, yeah, meeting Tiny was definitely humbling. At the time, I just dropped a Tether that was like, my first like major hit records. And he reached out to my manager and said that, he wanted to set up a meeting. And then we went to the studio. He was really cool. We talked about a lot of stuff, and because I watched him growing up, you know what I'm saying? So that was definitely a humbling moment for me, and that told me that I was doing something right. And then I think it was around the same time that we recorded with Wiz as well. Me, he, and Wizkid did a track over at his studio. And right now though, I'm feeling Dave.
Yeah.
I'm feeling Fredo. I think
Yep.
that's his
Yep.
name,
Yep.
Fredo.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I'm
right.
feeling Fredo. And I'm feeling this kid, man. I forgot his name. He's white and he's like rapping.
Oh, wow. There's quite a few. Yeah,
Um,
you put me on a back burner for that one. Normally, I'm quite good at this. I mean, if when it comes to it, you know, if I find out, I'll DM you.
One like best new artist at the Mobiles this year,
Oh,
or,
best.
or was last year?
Uh, I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to go back on myself on that one. People are gonna
Yeah,
destroy me in the comments, but it's fine. Like if anything, like if I find out, I'll let you know. Like for sure, man.
yeah, yeah.
So let's take it back for our audience then. So to get to know you even further, right? So you're born in Lagos, Victoria State.
Victoria Island.
Victoria Island, okay. And you went to school over there as well. And you know, what was it like firstly, like when you went to school, like cuz I heard from a young age that I mean a lot of people that I speak to when they start doing music, they started from a young age. So
Yeah,
what made you kind of you know, be influenced into going into music, knowing that I heard that your mum was in a gospel choir as well?
yeah, yeah. So the inspiration for me, like you said, was my mom. I'd be in a congregation just watching her sing, and I thought that was really interesting, and I wanted to be like that as well. And then my uncles too used to be songwriters. They used to write. My one of them was writing R&B. The other was singing like gospel as well. And they used to play like instruments at home, like the harmonica. So I started to pick up on that. I was learning how to play that. I learned how to play the recorder. I started learning to drum at a really young age. And as I grew up, the passion just grew stronger and stronger for music. And then I found myself writing poems. And then I
Oh
decided to
wow.
put poems on a beat. And then, that's how it all started.
Okay, so like the whole sort of poetry, writing stuff down, and obviously, like you said, like your mum being in the gospel choir, and did you go to a lot of her sort of sort of showings and stuff like that, and did that further influence you into lead into the path of music? Because I heard that your parents are very very supportive of your musical journey.
Yes, yes. I went to a lot of her showcases, and even just being in church every Sunday, we didn't really miss church. She's very like spiritual, and yes, man, they've been supportive. Ever since I thought in my head that I wanted to be an artist. My father would drive me to the studio sometimes. My mom would pay my studio sessions, and it's just been love. Always.
So what was the moment where you thought like I can really get into this? Like cuz I know that when you record I heard that you recorded your first track with your uncle which was called I Can't Wait.
Yes.
Right. So was it at that point in time where you decided like, having been exposed with, what your mum was doing, what your dad was doing, your uncles, like did that push you to go, yeah, I can really kind of see myself going this route?
Yeah, I mean, so like, when I started to feel like, I wanted to like hear myself on a beat, on an instrumental, and I recorded the first song, I Can't Wait. That was definitely a push for me. And I remember trying to get that on the radio, and we was going from different radio stations to radio station, just trying to drop it off with DJs and doing all that. So that was definitely a moment in my life where like things really started to kick off.
Okay. From that point it was like, yeah, things were really kind of building for you. And we're going to go into like where you really got established at a certain point in a minute. But what I heard is as well is that you moved to Ghana and then you moved over to Canada. So it's interesting like how you decided to move to another part of Africa and then go all the way on the other side of the world to Canada. Like, was it the fact that you had family around in those parts? Like, what was the decisions to move to those places?
Yeah, so I actually moved to Republic du Benin, not Ghana. We moved there for school. I was schooling out there for a couple years, and then my father was he had moved from the States to Canada, and so at a certain point, we decided that we all had to be together as a family. So we decided all to just move to one place, and we came to Canada.
But why
And yeah.
Canada of all places, though? What was the motive behind that? Because that's two extremes, like going from Africa to the other side of the world. Why did you guys decide to move over there?
Yeah, my father was here working.
Right.
He was doing a lot of community work in Canada. And
Okay.
so that's why, yeah, so we just we came where he was basically.
So it made sense, like you just said, like you wanted to be all together. He was doing work over there, so it made sense that you would go over there and like be together as a family. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So when you moved to Canada,
Yeah.
like did the like because obviously the type of music you make is it's very instrumental. It's very much an Afro sort of very like funky swing sound that we hear from you. Did the music scene over there like influence you in addition to the type of music that you make? Because obviously, like I've been hearing that Drake, Tory Lanez is like some of your biggest influences.
I mean, even before like being in Canada, like I started off just rapping. Rap was my thing, and so when I decided to venture into Afro beats, you know, I couldn't like totally switch and lose myself in trying to contribute to the Afrobeat market. I still wanted to bring something that was a part of me into what was already existing,
Mm,
and so definitely Canada influenced it to an extent. But I always wanted to be a rapper and a singer at the same time. So
mm.
so when I sing, I'm rapping, and it was new to the Nigerian music industry when I came. It seemed very alien and very impossible to do,
Mm,
um, because everybody was, it sounded very monotonous to me. It's like everybody sounding the same,
right.
and I just wanted to come with something different, and that was easy for me because I was already rapping. All I needed to do was put a little bit of melody into what I was rapping, and
Yeah.
it was a new sound.
So was this before like the exposures of like, Canadian artists like Drake? Was that before like, the whole influence of doing rapping and singing like within the Afro sort of the beats that you make? Was that way before like Drake and Tory Lanez and Canadian artists like that ever came into the equation? Or was that whilst you were in the process of Canada that you kind of like were discovering that?
No, it was way before. Because I was listening to 50 Cent, I was
Oh, I
listening
love
to the
50 Cent.
game,
Yeah.
I was listening to everybody, what's his name? I was listening to every rapper, Ja Rule,
Yeah.
everybody that was spitting, and so it wasn't really Drake or Tory. It was just me, and I was like listening to everybody, R&B, rock music, soul, gospel. I was
Wow.
listening to everything,
Yeah.
and that's why my music is so like instrumental
So it's
and versatile.
so it's really diverse. Like, the
Yeah,
amount of listening habits that you've had, like, before you moved over to Canada, way before all that, that kind of like led you into
yeah,
sort of the sounds that you're making now. So I guess it's like where your music's very instrumental and very varied. That leads back to like the influences you had, like you said, 50 Cent and Ja Rule, and all those sort of
yeah.
rappers from then. So yeah, no, that's a good outlook of seeing when you're getting into new music, man. And I heard as well, like, so when you moved to Canada, like you were there for a while and then you moved back to Nigeria and that's where you got signed. So talk to us about the process from moving to Canada to Nigeria and then being signed when you got back.
Yeah, man. So when I started to venture into Afro beats, I remember a certain artist had come from Nigeria to perform here in Toronto, and I opened for the artist. His name's Flavor, and so I get on stage, I'm rapping. I was doing a cover to one of Drake's singles, and as I'm performing, like I see everybody's just sitting all the way in the back, just looking at me sing. And as soon as I get off the stage, Flavor jumps on, and all the girls are screaming like, "Oh my God, Flavor, Flavor!" And I'm just sitting there like, "Wait, I think, what am I doing wrong?" Like, what I'm saying? Like,
You're thinking to yourself, you performed on stage, not like like
yeah,
like cowboy movies that you have like tumbleweed going from one end to the other, like no sounds, and then as soon
yeah,
as he comes on, it's just like ah, my God! And you're thinking, what's going on? What am I doing wrong?
yeah. And so that moment for me, I'm thinking like, yeah, I think I need to do something like this guy. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? So I hit up the studio to record the first song. It was called Feeling the Way. I
right.
did a second one, Yemisi. And as soon as I did Yemisi, we took that to Nigeria and, try to market that.
Mm.
And, as we like going from place to place trying to market that, I run into the Chocolate City label CEO at the time. And he's like, "Yo, you're different. I think we can make a lot of money out here." And then 8 months down the line, we're signed to the label.
Yeah, because you got signed, and obviously that's where your push started to really like go through. So because you really started to gain like recognition. Like you signed in what 2014?
Yeah, 2014. Yeah, and then I came back to Canada and went back at like 2015.
Yeah.
Um, so
So
for, for
you've been doing a lot of traveling, like so it's like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You must have got exhausted at certain times. I was like, oh, I gotta go back
yeah,
here, gotta go back here, and but then I
yeah,
guess touring, like if you were touring before, that would have been normal for you.
yeah. But like I told you, man, that's one of my favorite things to do. I love
Yeah,
traveling.
yeah,
I love the road. So
yeah.
you're a really good thing for me.
So you started to get like recognition like in 2016. You had CK produce single Miracle, which featured Little Kesh. Beforehand, like you had Telephone. And when I was watching the video, I was thinking like, man's rocking the perm, like I haven't seen like many people like rock the perm like that. I was like, yo, the only people that I knew that was rocking it like that was Miguel and Cat Williams, to me.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Did you see any, were you influenced like by certain people to rock the perm? Because I've
I
never
think
seen
it was
that
a
for a while.
Elvis. I think it was an Elvis influence. It was a movie. I forgot the name of the movie. I think it was Juice. It's a movie that we're trying to tapping from.
Right.
Yeah, that
Oh,
was where I
mad.
came.
I mean, because obviously, you've had your perm sort of style, then you had like growing out your plait style, and now all of a sudden, like you've grown your hair. It's just like you've got different personalities over the years, different looks, and I'm thinking like I'm trying to figure out which one Dice is one or the other. The ones there. It's like I'm trying
Yeah.
to keep up. Are you
Mm.
always trying to evolve yourself as an artist, like based on like, are you trying to experiment with looks all the time, or is it just something that naturally fits with you?
I mean, naturally, I get bored doing the same thing for too long. So I find myself just doing trying to venture into something new. So I'm experimenting with my hair a lot.
Yeah.
I don't like to be boxed or be in one place for too long. And
Yeah.
that's why, I'm constantly moving and changing.
So give it like a year or two, then I don't know. What could we expect for you? What just do a full
Oh,
afro in this in this time?
I don't know. I don't even know. I just go with the flow.
And I can see that you definitely go with the flow because you're constantly bringing out the content. And like we said earlier, like obviously this pandemic has been quite difficult as far as like bringing out a lot of content in these circumstances. But you're still reinventing yourself, as I can see. And I wanted to, and you said about the End SARS protest earlier, and obviously you rep in Nigeria. Were you there actually at the protest?
I mean, we did a couple protests here in Canada. I was watching what was happening in Nigeria from here, and it was really sad to watch. What the people were going through in the hands of the Nigerian government, and I thought that it only made sense for me to lend my voice and sort of push the movement out here.
And how did all those events that unfolded make you feel? Because obviously, like you representing Nigeria, you're born in Nigeria, and all of this is happening. I mean, how did it hit you? Like how did it play on you?
I mean, it was really emotional for me because I know a lot of people that have been victims to the SARS unit. It's really sad to see that we're being oppressed by our own people and being killed by our own people. There's so much that we ask of the government, like basic things that we lack as a people, but we still do so much for the country. We put Nigeria on the map worldwide through the music, through the movies, through sports. Even in like, there's a lot of doctors that are like popular worldwide that are from Nigeria. We're doing a lot for the country, and the littlest things that we ask for we cannot get. And so it really hit me to see that for so many years we continue to go through the same thing over and over again, especially when there's so many natural resources. There's enough money to go around in the country, but it's sort of like just stuck somewhere, and the disparities between the rich and the poor is so wide. And there's so many issues that need to be tackled. And as much as I haven't been directly affected, I felt like I needed to speak up. People needed to be aware of what's going on in the country, and maybe that would sort of spark a change. And I think that we've seen some little changes here and there, but I hope that someday Nigeria, because we have so much potential, and so I hope things get better over time.
I hope it does as well, man. And I mean, like, obviously, from last year, like 2020, a lot of like events unfolded. Even like the Black Lives Matter protests that have been happening as well. And I speak to a lot of artists that I try to get their perspective of what they feel what changes need to be made. So, I mean, in your view, like, what do you reckon needs to happen in order for like our long fight going forward to gain equality and to have equal harmony in the world and just to keep at peace?
I mean, I think one of like the biggest underlying issues for a lot of things that we like face is like poverty. I think if poverty and food insecurities are tackled, I think that we're gonna reduce a lot of crime. We're gonna reduce a lot of illnesses. We're gonna bridge the gap between the rich and the poor. That would bring a lot of unity, and even racism. A lot of things just stem from poverty, and hunger. And I think that the Nigerian government uses that to subdue the people, just for selfish interests. You know what I'm saying? So and I'm trying to start like a movement, you know, where we tackle like food insecurities little by little, and you know, empower the people, empower the youth, you know, because I think the youth is the future of every nation. So we need to empower the youth. We need to tackle food insecurities and fight poverty. That's where I think that, you know, we can start to solve a lot of these problems.
I definitely agree because I mean, there's a lot. I mean, I went down to my local street just the other day and I saw like a poster at the bus stop that says about food banks, promoting food banks and how many millions of people go to these food banks and promoting their companies and stuff like that. And I just find that why that should it even be promoted? Why should that even be a thing to be promoted?
Right.
With poverty. And I mean, obviously, there's a lot that's going on, and I think a lot of it's to do with mentalities of people. It's very, very difficult, and I think education is, I keep saying to a lot of people, education is key, because we don't get a lot of Black history in our schools, and I think that is what's truly needed in order for us to, get more people to open their eyes a little.
Yeah, I think so as well. When I was, you know, analyzing like the Sars movement and everything, I started to realize that one of the other big problem is that a lot of Nigerians don't know who they are, and you know they hide their history from the people, and because they don't know who they are, they don't know their rights as a people. You know, they're able to be trampled upon, and so education definitely is key for a better future
Mm.
for the blacks, for Africa. I think education is, and you know, even like the change needs to start from us. You know, since January, I've been like, you know, just out giving back to the community on my social media. You know, giving out money, giving out food here and
Wow.
there. I think that people need to we need to start to love one another more.
Mm.
You know, more than we ever did, because I think the change really has to start from us. And if we're together, I think nothing can stop us, basically.
100%, man. 100%. I feel you on that one, man. Well, let's bring the positivity back up a little bit because that's what we're about, positivity. So, I mean,
Right.
obviously you being in the Afro scene and, it's, we're playing it so much in like parties, festivals, concerts, club nights. I mean, before the pandemic hit. And, we even have like an Afro Nation festival, which happens in Portugal. And, why do you think that Afrobeats has held its place for so long? I mean, for well over a decade. Like, and it brings this like positivity in terms of like, making yourself feel good when you're on the dance floor or whatever it is you're doing. Why do you think it's held its place for so long?
I think because it's very like organic and natural and true. And you know, a lot of Afrobeat songs are themed around love, and I think love is one of the strongest feelings. And you know, that can easily transcend across different cultures and different nations. And you know, it's taken so long for Afrobeats to reach this point, but you know, it's finally here, and people are starting to understand, you know, the sound, the instruments, everything is so true and original. And I think that's why, you know, it's still here, because original would always last. You know, it doesn't matter how long it takes for people to come around, but original would always stick out.
And you're certainly an original piece, my brother. Because I mean, even we're gonna go into your new single, "Money Dance." It's a very smooth,
Yes.
funky, and true. It's true to the Afro sound. I mean, the fact that it's about money and you're dancing to it, like I was hooked straight away, man. I mean, what made you want to come up with the track? Like,
Thank you.
it seems like you just like money.
I mean, for me, it's like positivity, man. Always, I like to, you know, raise people's spirits. 2020, everybody was home. You know, we were held back by a pandemic. It's a new year right now, and we just trying to get to the money and dance and have fun. And you know, just trying to wake the people's spirits up, man. You know, just wake up and go get that money. That's basically what the song is about.
And of course you've got like Semtex over here, DJ Semtex running the track. So big up to him. He's running your track. So a lot of people are
Yes,
loving it over here at the moment, man. So it's all love.
yes. Thank you.
No one's there, and it sounds like you must be doing all right for yourself because you're saying about the money dance. I've seen the money dance challenges all over Instagram. Was that you with your friends in the Cineplex?
Oh yeah, yeah, that was me and my friends in the Cineplex.
Because when I looked at it and you did like, flicking the money in the air, I must have been thinking, as soon as the video's over, they're all gonna scramble and pick up their money. I was instantly thinking that, you know me doing
Yeah.
all that, and I was like, oh yeah, where's my $20? I need it back. No, but obviously the money dance challenge, a lot of people are doing it. Was that something that you wanted to give out to your audience and promote on socials and kind of get people involved with it?
Yeah, I mean, when I was recording the song, it wasn't like it wasn't calculated that when we drop it, we're gonna have people doing that. But upon dropping it, I seen that a lot of people were like organically spraying money, because that's also like a very Nigerian thing. When we go to parties, we like to throw money in the air,
Okay.
and that's sort of like a celebration for us, right? So I think that they sort of cut the vibe from there, and people started to do that, and then I'm like, okay, why not just make it a challenge? And let's see, how you have fun with the money while you dance, basically.
Ah, interesting. Do you know what you just told me? You just made me think because obviously what it sounds like, in Nigeria, like the whole vibe of just throwing money around, having fun, what I mean, being free spirited. Whereas like over on our side, I would think if I would have money like that in my hand, I'm like, I'm putting it in my pocket, keeping it safe. You know what I mean? Because over here it's just a bit mad. And then obviously, I don't know. It might be. I guess like different countries have different ways of seeing money. So I guess for you guys, you just have like you just want to have a lot of fun with it, and obviously take care of your money, obviously, but just be more free with it.
Yeah, yeah. Nigeria, we're very giving people.
Yeah.
We if you go to a Nigerian wedding, bro, it's like it's so much money. Like Nigerian parties, I need to bring you to Nigeria so you see what I'm saying.
Is
We
that
love to
an
be
offer?
generous and expressive with money.
Is that an offer? Like,
It is an offer, man. Let's come
okay?
out, bro.
Okay. I
It's an
mean,
offer.
I mean, I don't know if I'll fit in your suitcase, but I mean, I'll try to find a way to squeeze in there. So,
We'll make
but
it happen. We'll make it happen.
hey, listen, when this pandemic's over, I need to travel more because
Sure, bro.
I've only been to a few countries, and one of them being Toronto. So I need to explore more, man. Like, I definitely want
Great.
to come to Africa at some point, man.
Ghana too is a beautiful place.
I've heard.
Nigeria. Ghana. Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Everybody's up there right now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's popping, man. Like we hear so much about what the media portrays us as what Africa is, but I've seen a lot where it's like it's just a rich country. Do you know what I mean?
It is, man. It is so rich in everything, in the food, in the culture,
Mm,
and then money too. Like we're doing good. I don't know why they continue to portray Africa as a poverty infested place. Of course, there's poverty, but there's poverty everywhere across the
mm,
world. You
mm.
know, Ghana is just like Canada. It's just like Nigeria. Lagos is like a mega city.
Yeah,
That's where all the hits is coming out from. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, just random question. You just made me think. So you've been to Canada and you've been in Nigeria, you've been to Ghana. Like, what are like signature dishes that you like from each country? So like let's start with like Nigeria. What's your like signature dish that you like?
From Nigeria, I like pounded yam and
Oh,
okra and like crabs.
oh
I like
wow.
seafood. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, is there a difference in like crab and lobster? Because I don't. Is there any major differences?
it's quite similar.
Quite
Quite
similar.
similar. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's quite
Okay. What about Ghana? What's the signature dish from Ghana that you like?
signature dish from Ghana. My grandmom used to make me something called atple, and
Okay.
ayin batadi. It's like fresh tomatoes and pepper and onions, just like
Oh my
blended,
god.
and then with fish,
Oh.
and the atple is made out of like maize. You know,
Oh God, you're
That's
making me hungry, man. I'm loving this stuff, man. And what about Canada? Because obviously, you've been back and forth with Canada.
yeah.
Is there any particular dish that sticks out?
In Canada. I mean, when I'm here, I wanna try Popeyes. That's
Yeah. Well, I've actually, I think I've been to Popeyes, quite good. Been to Wendy's as well. That's quite a good one.
Yeah, Wendy's good. Popeyes and Tim Hortons, of course. You know,
Oh,
morning.
you can't go to Canada without having a. I've
Yeah,
actually I bought a Tim Hortons mug back when I was in Toronto.
did
So I
you?
had, yeah, man. I had to give one to my mum, man, as well, man. She loves it. You know,
Yeah,
she'll make sure that when I can make her coffee, she'll be like, "Can you use that? Can you use that mug, please?" Because she wants the big amount in there. So yeah,
yeah.
man. Big up Tim Hortons, man. I mean, obviously, you know, going back to the money dance for a second. What's the most money you've ever spent on yourself?
Oh man, the most money I ever spent on myself. Oh, I don't remember. I don't keep track, man. Because I spend more money on people than I spend on myself. So
Wow.
I don't really like, yeah, I don't really keep track.
Yeah, but if, is there a particular like sort of treat to yourself, or it's like, you know, is it like certain bling that you had? Because I see that you kind of stunting a little bit on the gram at times. So
Yeah, I think you know, yeah, I think definitely my chains and grills would be like, you know, some of the most expensive things that I have purchased.
yeah. I can see that, man. Like you're just shining on these guys, man. You're just shining on them, bro. You know the ones there. So I mean, what's next for you anyway? Because I'm hearing that you're working on a debut album. You know, are you doing like in the meantime, whilst you know we're still in the height of the pandemic? Are you focusing on doing more music and videos until you're able to tour again?
Yeah, man. You know, completing the album is like 80% done.
Okay,
Uh, yeah, so we're shooting more videos. There's more singles dropping after Money Dance, but the Money Dance video is about to drop. I think on Tuesday we putting that out.
sick.
Uh, yeah, so yeah, look out for that. You know, and then more singles and then the debut album for sure. I'm excited about that one.
Same here, same here. The vibes that you're coming with, you know, with your tracks and your catalog over the years, man. I cannot wait. I cannot wait for your album to drop, man. Seriously. Um, so I mean, also to just to touch on, like you said about collaborations in the UK, what would be your ultimate dream collaboration? Like, if there's one that's saying right now, I want it, who would it be?
Mm, that's tough, man.
Or even if you got like a couple.
Um, I definitely want to do something with Fred. I think I like his vibes. I'm a big fan of gigs.
Okay.
Um, who else? J Hus.
Oh, do you know what? J Hus would be a sick one because I can imagine like he's got his, you know, singing flow, singing rapping flow, and
Yeah,
combined with yours, that would just be shut down.
no,
Shut down, my brother. Yeah, that would be a sick one, man. Well, before I let you go, anyway, I would do this with every single artist. I'm a bit of a Twitter stalker. So basically, like, I haven't seen too many tweets, but I come across a few that stand out. So just wanted to have some fun, have some elaboration for our audience, and you know, get a bit more context of what you mean by the tweet. Is that good with you?
right, sure.
All right, cool. So the first one I come across is have money in your head but never in your heart.
Yeah. So what? You want me to explain that?
Yes, please. Oh, are you
I
breaking up?
mean, so one of the things that I learned over the years is like, okay, yeah. So one of the things that I learned over the years is like the love for money is the root of all evil.
Mm,
And I've seen how money has torn a lot of families apart, and you know, brought a lot of like enmity into like where love exists. And but money is just vanity. You know what I'm
mm,
saying? You know, money come, money go. We can't really take it with us. And
mm,
so I thought to just put that out there so people understand that it doesn't matter how rich you become. You know, wealth isn't really about money. You know, it's about like it's right here in your mind. You
mm.
know, and so that's why I thought to tweet that.
Oh, I mean that from the jump when I saw that, I thought like, yo, like you coming with that philosophical stuff already, man. I'm loving it because literally, you know, money comes and goes, but it's what's in the heart. Like if you can give your good aura throughout your entire life, you know, what I mean, money is an addition, but it's not the be all or end all of your life. You know the ones there.
It's not.
It's not, man. Next one is they say I'm a cheat code. What did you mean by that?
I mean, they say I'm a cheat code. I mean, I can like musically, I can do anything. I could jump on any type of vibes. I could collaborate with any type of artist from any region in the world. I've done Spanish records, I've done high life, I've done rap, I've done everything. So I'm just like, I'm a cheat code. I could break barriers, I could do anything that I put my mind to.
Do you know what's funny? Like when I read that initially, I was thinking, when you play the PlayStation, like the PlayStation 1 back in the day, and then like
Yeah.
you have cheat codes like to, to get more levels, do you know what I mean? Or to bypass some of the levels that you can't achieve, do you know what I mean? So to me, when I read that, I thought like a cheat code as in like, bypassing a lot of stuff. But in your case, it sounds like it's just more being varied and being able to tap into anything as far as like music. That's what it sounds like to me.
Right,
I hear that, man.
right.
Yeah, man. Next one is stop it already. Stop comparing me to artists that clearly are trying to sound and look like Dice.
I mean,
Because you are original. You are original. So
yeah, I said I realized, since I came in the game, there's been a lot of new artists that sort of tap into the style and the sound and the look, and it's really funny because then I see people try to like um, put me against those artists. I don't have nothing against when I watch that. It's like it's flattering to see that there's people sort of like inspired by the sound that I came in with. But it's funny to just see that people also try to compare me to them because obviously they wouldn't have been if I never did what I did. You know what I'm saying?
so
So
it's
that's why I treated that.
wow, madness, man. So it's like, yeah, stop copying from Dice, man. Leave him alone. Uh, two more. Which one of you girls getting me a PlayStation 5? I mean, obviously, this is when the PS5 came out, but
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I was thinking like, what?
um,
No, not none of my friends. Not one of the man them. Like, which one of you girls is getting me a PS5? I mean, if it sounds like you got a few
bro.
connects here and there.
But I just felt like we like men's always splurging on these females. I'm like, okay, for the first time, I mean, we want to see y'all do something. You know what I'm saying?
Well, preach it on, man. Preach it
Yeah. So
on.
I'm like,
Tell him.
how about you? How about you cop a PlayStation 5? That was what that tour was about.
Did you get one from a girl in the end, or did you get it yourself?
Nah, man, I didn't get it from no girl, bro.
Ah,
And then I sort of lost interest. I was gonna get it, but I'm like, man, I don't even have time for it because I
okay.
still have like, the PlayStations from before, but I don't even know where they are. Like I don't play it. Sometimes when I play one or two games, I'm just like tired of it.
I mean,
So
to be honest as well, like, how not just the console being like near 500, 600 pounds, but then the games you're probably spending about like what, 60, 70 pound on a game. I'm like, come on, get out of here.
yeah, I mean, it's just tiring for me, man. It's tiring.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I was a really like big. I was really big on playing games, but now it's just like, oh man, there's too many like real life issues to deal with than just sitting at home and just playing games.
True. I mean, I'm the same, really. I'll be honest with you. Like, I haven't played since the PS2. So I did an interview with
Great.
an yeah, I did an interview with an artist like a couple of months ago, and when I told him that, he said, "You're mocking it. You're mocking it. Leave it." I said, like, you're mocking the whole thing. Like, I said, like, well, bro, what do you want me to say? Oh boy. All right, last one is I agree. I'm genius. What were you thinking at the time? Was it something that triggered you and thought like, yeah, I've got to say it?
I mean, sometimes I just like I listen to myself and I listen to some of the stuff that I say on the record and how like I put together like the videos and I surprise myself at times. I'm like, how did I come up with this?
Yeah.
I do it so naturally, so organically. Sometimes, a lot of times, I don't write my music. I just go off the top, and it comes out so dope. And people are like singing to it. Everybody's talking about it, and that just convinced me that I'm actually genius.
Wow. So you came up with that philosophy. So it's mad that you said that. Where you said stop it already, stop comparing me. and then obviously leading it to I agree, I'm genius. So it's like the way that you come up with your original sound, I'm genius. So stop trying to act like me. If we link those two tweets, it all makes sense to me now. So like, you're the original. Don't copy me, and we're cool.
Right.
Well, Dice, it's been an absolute pleasure to speak with you, bro, man. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, my brother.
Yeah, no worries, man. I know you got more famous shit to do, so I ain't gonna hold you up much longer, man.
Yeah.
If you could tell our audience where they can catch you on all the socials, what's coming up for you, the floor is yours, my man.
What's up, London? Catch me on social media, Dice Ailes on Instagram, Dice Ailes on Twitter. I'm Dice Ailes across all platforms, and let's connect.
Yeah, man. Make sure you check out the Money Dance as well. And obviously, like you said, your debut album's coming out soon. You said you're 80% done with it at the moment.
Yes.
All right, cool. So when are we kind of looking to expecting it? Maybe later this year, maybe 2022.
Later.
What are we looking at?
Later this year for sure.
Okay. So make sure you check up on the album when it drops, man. Can't wait for it, bro.
Thank you, man.
All right, cool, man. Well, it's been a pleasure, man, and take care of yourself, man. And see you down the line, brother.
All right, love.
All right, peace, man.